like if they're playing a Lucio, you are at a massive advantage because you are just playing here. It's not a it's not a large distance to move in order to get on point. So you're already at an advantage if they've got a Lucio. So your BAP doesn't actually need to be using his lamp for countering speed boost. It doesn't even need to be used to counter speed boost. It's used when he needs it. But those are the win conditions. Like Jeremy, by Logan, by Toasty. So yeah, you got that on point, and then it's the same thing as again. So the walls you're looking to, if they're playing this side of point, this part here, if you really can't do that, then walling through mid and then getting a quick advantage on that. Always playing with your Rhine, playing on his shoulder, and what are you playing? McCree, May. Yeah, once you've got the Reaper's good on this point once you're up close, but yeah, you don't have the Lucio for it, so it's not good enough.
We could just go like...
Okay, besides.
if we want to, we could go like Urus or something here. I'm gonna go with a Reaper, Lucio. Like, BAP Lucio, there is Rhine, and then just... Yeah.
No, because I think you get rolled over on this point. If they're playing an offensive brawl, playing at Orisa here, and that's if you get maximum value off of a hull, you're gonna get rolled over. It's not like Dorado where you've got covers, constant covers, and payload, so like a continuous push.
No, but here we'll just speed to corners, or speed back to corners. Since like point is pretty close corner.
Speed?
Oh no, not speed, but like go. You know, go.
No, I don't think it's not bad, but then you want to be pushing through mid if you're going to play that. I don't think it's a smart thing to do. You can also just push through mid anyway, so it depends how your shot caller wants to play it. So if you're pushing through mid, it's the same stuff, you probably want to play right side of point, and like I said earlier, if you're pushing through the mid, and you've got a Lucio, you're at a disadvantage anyway, so having the BAP brig coming through the right side of point is solid. So yeah, that's how you want to play that. Have I missed anything, or is that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That stuff, but
that came a bit late, but yeah,
so yeah,
that makes sense.
Those are your win conditions, and then it's all about, if you're playing the BAP brig, all about points, pressure, and well, I suppose being stationary. You can rotate, so you can take this high ground up here. You can take the high ground where the May is. You can hold close. It just depends on how you want to react. So you can hold here. You can again go and take up top left area. It's honestly comes down to how much value you're getting off on the lamp when it comes to going against the speed boost. If they're playing something like a divey type stuff like Chengdu or Chengdu with a Pharah, you just play inside and you should really win it if you're playing BAP brig. Play inside, take the value out of the Pharah, have the Zarya checking Pharah, have the Rhine checking Pharah occasionally, but make sure he's looking forward. Have the BAP watching for barrage and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be a Pharah, it could be an Echo or something, but they play the same way. So yeah, it's all just playing on point and not using your, I wouldn't recommend playing out actually, not using your abilities until the last possible second you need to, like a lamp. If you're wasting lamp, you're losing a huge win condition there.
Right.
Ultimates, Kree uses it for reactionary purposes, so if he sees them pushing, then he can use it to pressure them out. You've got Blizzard, because Blizzard is huge on point, or on choke. Shatters, reactionary, or up to the Rhine. Beat, same. Window, reactionary. You don't need to, unless if you're trying to fire strike. So if you see them pushing through this way and you're playing back, the way you play this as well, if you're playing with a group, is you walk backwards. So you just walk backwards, give them the space, make them think like they're getting space, and then they speed boost in, and that's when you use your abilities, and that's when you do go time. And go time is pretty much just hold out until you win. So, and then you can aggress on them. But if they back out, if they've still got a Lucio, don't feel like you need to keep pushing them because you're not going to catch them. So,
Alright, yeah, that makes sense.
You kind of just hold out. If they back out, don't overextend because they're going to catch your guard. Your Ryan's going to think, oh yeah, I'm going to charge up, and what Matt did, and like just be in their face, and then suddenly he gets rolled over because they've got the speed for it. There's that. What other ult did I miss? Grav, same. Well, we know this. It's just brawl, similar to Goats.
Press triangle equals win.
That's fine. Sorry?
Press triangle equals win.
Yes.
True.
Combos, so never grab Blizz. Beat,
Yes.
rarely beat for Blizz, that's pretty much it. Blizz and grab, but you can beat for most of Blizz. Blizz is okay. It depends, like if you know that they're going to combo up with something, then either don't beat or make sure you've got something to sustain it to do. So, if you were playing a Moira, you want a Cole as well. No, I think that's a bit much. Your own Blizz, something like that to sustain, because a good grab and a good Blizz, even a beat, you're probably still going to lose people during that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be careful of that. Whoever's playing knows DH. Why am I saying B? You're not playing a Lucio. It's PG. You're on Lucio. It's really messing with my head. Sorry. If you were playing a Lucio, that's how you would play it. You play it reactionarily, but play it careful, so that you're not wasting it.
Wouldn't we be playing either Brig or Zen with the BAP?
Brig BAP.
Yeah, thought so.
It's for stuns. So again, like the Brig is there for the stun value and the AoE healing. She's not getting AoE healing. She's not doing enough because she needs to get rally fast. But the stun is there for when they speed boost in, getting a stun on Lorraine, getting a stun on, well, anything that's doing something valuable. Yeah, that's it. That's village. We know village. It's not huge. I guess we could do the inside map. I'm gonna go to Dorado just because it's a valuable point to go over for shot calling. And then we can come back to this map if we want.
Yeah, just rotate early. That's it.
Let's go to Dorado.
Whole lot.
But yeah, we know how that's played, that map. So yeah, just make sure you know what you're doing. Everyone else needs to know what they're doing as well. It's essentially bunker, but with a little bit more movement.
Right.
Oh, and rally as well. Don't underestimate rally speed boost. So you can use that opportunity to go aggressive, like when you would have a Lucio, so you completely catch them off guard. You kind of want to use rally offensively, right, or reactionarily, but early, so that you can meet them. So you've got armor, and also you can meet them earlier than they would expect, so you catch them off guard. That's what rally's hugely important for as well. So this point, give me a comp. I'm gonna tackle defense.
For defense or offense?
Let's do defense.
Okay. Yeah, basically what we run.
I think it's solid. Yeah, the Zen, I think's good on first to a point, like it's good on the first angle. Careful on it on the second half of this point, and third point probably worth swapping Brig. You can run it through to third, because Zen's probably better on third if you play it right, which is what I was talking about earlier, which I'll go over, like setting up high ground and stuff. On that third point as well, when we get there, the Ryan doesn't even have to set up on the high ground, he can be bait on low ground, then he can drop when he wants to drop. But yeah, so this start, I don't know what happened to DH, but you got picked early. So if that happens, you can just scream to everyone to rotate early. They don't have to sit up here and feel like they need to keep getting value. If you've lost your BAP, they should really be diving you and rolling you at that point. So I think you're quite lucky that no one else died at that point, so lagging. So it's like, against a good team they would punish that. So they weren't a bad team, but you can have them go quick and hold point. So this is fine, all up here, etc, etc, and then rotate when they hit fire hydrant, like John said, good idea. So rotate, and then call all that as well. Here, I think we were playing way too close, a little bit aggressive. This is this is where you're playing PG. Remember that once you're up here, yes, people sat there can't shoot, but someone, I don't know, a tank or whatever, or a widow. There's a peak here, basically. You're not getting optimum value off of the shield. Also, when you play here, maybe your plan is to bait them, but this is a bait. There's no other way of saying this. So, an Orisa playing here, it's close to corner, so they don't have to use a lot of resources to get to you. It's got flanks here, it's got flanks back there, so they can just look behind you. So reduce those variables and just play back a bit and play a fountain.
Alright.
Or this corner, I'd probably say. This is probably
Yeah.
best than playing this. And then, yeah, and then just playing that. And the Rhine, I think Matt probably wanted to get more value than... The Rhine needs to play careful, like play defensively 20%, and when they come in, that's when he goes aggressive. So he's there for the swings and the fire strikes and etc.
Yeah.
So halts. So 3, 2, 1, halting. So the 3, 2, 1, the 1/ now, I guess, is when the halt should be
Halt
detonating.
does.
So
Yeah,
3,
yeah,
2,
yeah.
1. And people like the Reinhardt should be looking for fire strikes. Everyone basically can get a ability damage in there. So like if the BAP gets a bit of downtime or the Zen, they can put shots into it as well. But that's where the value is. So just saying 3, 2, 1 halting and getting no value out of that, you might as well have just kept it for when they engage, so that you take some of their momentum out of them. So just you can also use it in that with that use as well.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
On Aurora, that was not it.
Yeah. So like using it to store momentum. So yeah, either combos or stalling momentum, but don't make sure you're getting value. It's easier to get it out of stalling momentum because you're not relying on someone else to be getting value out of the halt. But
That
early
makes
on in the
sense.
game, it's actually very handy to be doing the halt combos so that you're getting your Rhines. Fire Strike's huge for getting ult charge, so
Yeah.
getting ult charge up is really, really important actually. So yeah, it's playing this, and then when you want to push up you can. Ariza kind of can just bunker down here because she's not got any speed, so if the Rhine feels like you're also aggressive, the Rhine can. I probably would say no further than here. Yeah, because you've got BAP, again, it's like when you're playing with BAP, you kind of just bunker down. So if you want to, if you're thinking about rotations, this is, on some points you can choose whether you're going to play high grounds, different angles, etc. This kind of is optimal angle here, and they're just playing back with payload. You can do this if you're coming back from spawn, or here, it's hard, or you can play here, and then you need someone to contest. So yeah, this realistically is optimal angles, so just keep playing back. Don't have such an aggressive head that you get caught out here. Say that this is that barrier is where you need to be, and your Orisa's hit, and she can't get back in time.
Yeah.
That's just make sure that you're reacting to what they're doing, how they're aggressing, and that's what you should be calling if DH is shot calling. So saying like they're pushing or I don't know, flanking, stuff like that. Your job's not for flankers either, but you can call it out because you're the front guy, so you can see stuff if they're running around that right side. Shot calling wise, yeah, so pushing around those stairs, coming here, backing up. If your shot caller says something, you listen to them. So if you're saying back up to fountain, then you back up to fountain. Other than that, yeah, making sure you're getting ults, good ult shot calls out, and splitting. So if they're playing, because it's very common to play dive stuff on this, you can either play close because you've got BAP, or you can split and then dedicate your lamp to a target, the most likely target, or the target that's obviously getting dived. So if they're playing like a Farah, she wants to see some grouping up, but not a lot. So yeah, if that makes sense, either group up fully and then hunker down, bunker. It's probably best to do that because you've got a Rhine, or split when you know that they've got charge. Sorry? Who's that? Who was
I
that?
think that was like, what was his name? Aurora.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt.
I didn't hear him. It's very muffled. You're really muffled.
Yeah.
Oh, it's something
Dinosaurs.
about Spinosaurus. Thanks,
Oh,
man.
no,
he's
Yeah, so you
talking
keep backing up.
about-
Okay, second point. First point is pretty self-explanatory as well. This is where it matters. So here, this map, don't ever really play here unless if you get caught out on the low ground. That's the only time you ever be playing here. Who's the Widow? Get over
Alright.
it, Goomba. So here, high ground is everything. So your first call is to go high ground. Sometimes I wish Orisa could fly.
Don't go.
Wait,
Make it so much easier.
Reinhardt, should Reinhardt play low for bait again?
So yeah,
or-
swaps. You can still play the Zen. I think Zen, arguably Brig is better on first as well. You get Zen for poke. It's like good fire strikes and stuff. It's up
Surely
to
from up here, Zen would be better.
Zen is more. They're both fireball. Zen is a lot more risky. So yeah, just think of that. So yeah, this is the high ground. Your drop targets are, or your drop heroes are Rein probably, Echo touching. Sometimes BAP, but not often, not really. But if you want to drop together, then you can do that. Orisa often can just stay up here and play this angle. So you can play close to start and shoot down. Orion can do that. Maybe not the best idea to have the Orisa pushed up here. So Orion can just sit here and let his McCree shoot down to start and then back and track them as they're moving along here, setting up here. Unless if you're standing here looking down, you can do this. You've got a shot call ready, and you want to drop with an ult, then you can do that and just drop on point. But play the high grounds. Make them until the last moment. So this is the last moment. Make them use their abilities as much as you can, because you've got the high ground here. You've got people who can just sit behind the corners and then peek and get damage. They're completely out in the open. So they're going to be using abilities. Once you get abilities out of them, that's when you can drop and take point. And then you just do the same thing over and over again on this point. You should be winning it by doing that. That's exactly how they were playing it. They did get rolled through. They didn't get rolled through. Their first fight was actually solid, where they had their D.Va drop, but they messed it up because they played split. They had Rein D.Va. But yeah, if you had an Orisa here, and then a Rein doing the swing on point, Orisa's getting tons of damage here, getting holds in, combos, stuff like that. Halt for swings is good, so if you want to say drop now, just have the Orisa stay on high ground and then halt and then expect your Rein to be there for swings. Getting halt, big swings is good. Yeah, and then with ults, what we do want to drop with Lamp, basically is ult.
Wait, are we playing Brig or Zen?
You're staying on Zen, and that's what the H said, so stay on Zen.
Right.
Yeah, so this is the high ground, and then probably best to drop. Also checking flanks, whoever needs to be checking those flanks. Sometimes the Rein. Sometimes on this point you don't even need to stay on the Rein. D.Va's solid here. D.Va's solid in the last. Sigma's also solid. So that's down to the off tank or the shot caller for suggestions. Yeah, and you can continue playing up there if they push around on the payload this way. It's risky because if they get set up here, they get it set up there, then you're getting hit from multiple angles if they have a flanker coming around back. And then the main thing, how are you touching and with who and with what? It's a more vulnerable part of the point here than on that low ground over there. So yeah, just know that. If you're forced into doing it, Just make sure you have a confident plan for it. So you say no, like if you know you're at a disadvantage dropping earlier, then say no, don't drop. We're going to use this. Ready, 3, 2, 1, and then you drop down with your Orisa, hitting the point, etc. Same stuff. All the holds, swings and stuff. Cool. That's probably what you want to do. And then if you want to do anything funky like going up the top left and holding down top left, then you probably want to be playing something like a Sig on this high ground. That's weird though. If you were to make those swaps, you can do stuff like that. Sorry? Okay. The other comps you can play on this map, I think this is probably solid for first. If you really want to, you could swap. Or work on second. Dive, maybe double bubble probably is the other comp you could play here if it was just going horrendously wrong. It shouldn't, because you're playing such a bunkery thing that you should have some survivability even if you're playing bad. Cool. So then on to the next part. Here on defense, you've got two ways to play. Coming out of spawn, playing this angle and winning the fight here, or if you've got the time, backing up. Or if you're getting rolled, playing this angle, you just have to play it until you win. And then again, keep going back if you're still getting pushed. If you've got the time, you can call for setups on high ground. So sending the Orisa, Kree. This is where your Kree was a lot this game, but you didn't have a lot of protection. So sending your Orisa up here, your Rein can come up here as well, or you can send Rein down for bait. or sending Ryan down for bait if they're a smart team, then they'll just hit the group and then the Ryan gets no value. So think about that. Probably want the Ryan staying up for the swings and then dropping and then keeping the Orisa on high with the Korean stuff. Yeah, so this is how you sort of want to play this comp in general. It's like splitting the Ryan and Orisa off for point aggression and defensive positioning. So yeah, you've got your Orisa up here, bunker down. Bap can play back here to see points. The Orisa can play back here if she wants to, just don't get in the way of the Bap's view. What else have you got? Zen gets more value up here as well. And then what matters mostly is how you want to aggress point and drop. So the number one thing you can choose, because you can send the Ryan to point, but it's not like he's a diva who's got super stall potential. So you've got one of two choices. You can let the cart go under and let it keep pushing and get massive spam value in and then kill them off before they get in. Or you drop early here to meet them. So sending the Ryan first and then sending everyone else down. If you're doing this, don't do in between, basically. Do not go, oh no, they pushed under, let's drop, and then you meet them here and then you're at a massive disadvantage because you're on the essentially attacking side now. It is a disadvantage on this point. I would recommend dropping early, not letting them keep pushing, because it's not like you're playing spam, you're playing, you probably want to swap off the Echo, it's not bad. I can't remember what Joseph swapped to on this map.
Fuck. I can't remember.
Not sure, but your picks here, the picks here are strong throughout. Kree's strong. Here, Tracer's probably good. I think he swapped Tracer. Tracer's good on this. Echo's less so, but Echo's okay. Echo would probably be playing away from the group anyway, around this area. Yeah, but I think Tracer's strong for this last one, so I'd say the swap's to Tracer. And then also, where you say you want to play Zen, don't be stupid and play Zen when they're playing something like Genji and a Tracer, something like that. Do an early swap to Brig, get stuns out, you instantly counter that comp. So, yeah. And then you've got Holtz and Ryan swings and stuff, so that's probably when you want to swap that. Otherwise, if they're playing what they did today, you should get good value off the Zen. Target the right, the discorded targets, yeah. I mean, it's all pretty self-explanatory. Is this helping?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah? It's helping a lot.
And then,
yeah, so like, what?
So you said like swap off to Diva, or to Diva.
Well, it depends what you want to do. So
yeah, but like if we're gonna swap off Diva, that's just a question. Are we gonna swap the Rhine for Diva? So we play Orisa Diva. So we play more bunker.
You keep your Orisa.
Oh, by the way, I'm recording this for like people that can't
playing,
watch. Just letting you guys know.
You're playing. What's the word? Bunker spam. So yeah, you want to swap that. I think the Echo can swap on this. It's not bad if he's still playing well. But yeah, he's probably a Tracer or maybe even a Hanzo.
Wait, on this then.
I was saying that Ryan is good. Arguably, Ryan can be swapped out on every single one of these points with Diva. Even with Sig. Sig, I think, is the weakest on third for point presence reasons, so touching point. If he's not hitting his shots and not getting good rocks, then yeah, you're throwing. Yeah, I was saying Diva, if you wanted to keep the spam going for here, so you want to let them go past, someone has to touch. You're not guaranteed to kill all of them by the time the point gets over there. So you want to deal, it was for stall basically. But Diva can be stalling here as well, so playing on here, playing under. Diva's just really solid on this point. The rest of Diva is good. You can swap. This map you can swap entirely though. You can play Brawl, that's a reliable comp. You can play double bubble. You can play spam. It's all good. It just depends what you want to do. With this comp specifically, if you're going to stay on it the whole time, oftentimes a bit of shot calling knowledge. It's good to be able to have a comp that you can reliably play for most maps because you don't mess about with your ult economy. Unless if everyone uses ults for some reason and then you still lose, then you can very easily just make a swap because you're not losing out on anything. But yeah, those swaps are good too. So Probably if you're playing defense, a defensive brawl. With a defensive brawl, you probably want to just be playing down. If you're playing an offensive brawl, you want to get up here. Or if you've got time to set up with the defensive brawl, you want to play up here. But yeah, we're talking about this comp, so if we're going to stick with this comp, then we stick with it until it really fails you in a scrim, then we can go over a different comp to play on this. But it was okay, it was solid. Now we go to offense.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm spectator now. This is.
We're going double bubble and offense.
Let me know when you have to go. Anyone has to go, I don't expect you to stay.
Oh no, I'm gonna stay, because I'm recording it, so if other people can watch when later.
I'll try and be a bit more concise and specific. There's a lot of... Oh, maybe you can do this, maybe you can do that. What did you play on this? You played...
We played Winston, Ryan... No, Winston, Zarya. Yeah. No, it was Widowbap. Yeah. I switched to Ryan. Yeah, I switched to Reinhardt because...
That's fine. Joseph had a very good fire. Oh yeah, I realised that. Yeah, no,
Can I have the Winston?
What?
Can I have the Winston, please?
There you go then.
So... My only concern is... Because we're playing Pharah, Widow. The BAP's not terrible. Getting BAP angles on high ground is good. BAP doesn't get max value though.
No, we played
but
with on.
Then, if I'm thinking of other things, the Brig doesn't get max. The chances of them playing a divey thing and the chances of them engaging your point, because realistically you're playing your Brig on your point, isn't going to be particularly high. So Brig also isn't ideal. Zen is okay. Yeah, it's a hard choice out of the supports there. BAP's probably maybe your safest pick, but and you could easily swap it out for a Zen and just get Discord damage. Well, at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's just why. Let me say this. Why did you choose to play a BAP here? Pharmacy's fine. Why did you choose to play BAP?
We played Ana.
Oh, you played an Ana? That's fine. Yeah. Okay, cool. Ana's good. Yeah, Ana's solid with the nade going in for the double bubble for the attack. That's fine. The other thing you could do here is play an Echo, not invest a Mercy into it. You still can, still good. But you don't have to invest a Mercy into an Echo and play something like Brig Zen, or it's not as good really. This is probably the optimum way to play the comp if you're playing with a Widow because of the high ground. I think this is a good Widow map. So
why are we sleeping on Joseph's fire though?
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying if you want to invest support elsewhere, so being able to have a Discord, then you can do that with a Brig. You can't do that with a Mercy really. You can, but
Zen's too vulnerable.
It's not bad. Yeah, Mercy Zen's not the worst. It's definitely not the best thing you can do.
Oh, then Maya has played two defensive, I think.
So yeah, alright, let's just go with this comp then. I think it's solid. Yeah, with the Ana, solid. So let's imagine the payload's moving. So you've got Zarya sticking payload, you've got BAP, I assume sticking payload, not BAP, Ana sticking payload. You've got the monkey going here, or from the left. Maybe you want to do it from the left to catch off guard, and then you get the bubble in, so you just call it. You just hit here with the monkey. So with the bubble, yeah, we only have to play double bubble. Getting a Widow set up on one of these high grounds up here, and then have her rotate through the window, or go on the flank, but it's not the best thing to do. Only go on the flank if you're really not pushing it all that far. But then if you're not pushing all that far, you probably want to swap off the Widow. This is probably one of the only maps on Widow where you can stick it out even if you're not getting value within 30 seconds, just because it's such a... This point out of the three, until you get the second point, the second half of the second point is definitely her best part of the map. So So yeah, you can stick with her here until you get around the corner and then maybe swap. And then Pharmacy wants to be playing around bells or around top right, houses around top right, and going over houses and flanking. Slash going in on the same target as a double bubble. Yeah, so then the Ana Zarya just pushes payload. It's pretty straightforward. So they keep pushing. Shot calls come down to positioning of the payload movers, I suppose, and first targets. So everyone knows it's going to be the high ground as first target, or first location. So the Winston won't be taking high ground if he's not getting a pick. First job. This goes for maps as well, like Numbani, is to get them off of the advantage. So even not necessarily getting a pick, getting off the advantage. So pushing them down, and then having a plan for the second area. So we knew how we were playing on the defense of playing around Fountain. So how are you going to deal with that? So you can have the Pharahs going over the top, Pharah going straight, have Winston flanking instead, have your Widow flanking, or Widow come through and stay in the window, shooting down main. That's probably the best thing to do for a Widow. All the while you're getting your Ana to get value healing on the Winston, bubbles coming in, just playing the comp. I think I've covered everyone there. So yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward here. Again, point one is relatively straightforward. How you play it. It's take control of high ground / drop off high ground, take control of Fountain area, and then push and play in this area. Are there any questions for that?
Nah, that makes sense.
Nah.
Cool. Second point. This is really nice comp for second point, actually. Apart from maybe swapping off the Widow to like something that'll dive high ground, so like no, it's not bad. It's good as long as the Echo can get value on the high ground. So again, it plays a similar way to first. Actually, it's not to get picks, but getting their value off of the high ground, because a good team should be playing on the high ground. So sending the double bubble up with the Pharmacy, getting mass value off on that, getting them on the low ground, and then dropping and hitting the targets there. That's also pretty self-explanatory. If everything goes right, you should be able to smash this point pretty quickly. So double bubble up, force them off high. Careful sending the monkey too early, because he could just get rolled. So send the Pharah up, get poke damage off, get the Widow up on that mid-high ground over there, to get poke value off on the people who are on the high grounds. Make them force back, Pharah keeps poking, and then the Winston can die from back round choke or around the bottom left, so hitting from the side, just getting him off the high ground. At this point he might even have Primal, so you can just knock him off high ground with Primal. Or Pharah can knock him off with, which I know Joseph went for actually, knocking him off with Concussion. What matters is less so that, so people shot calling and tanks get the tendency to think that the first engage is the engage that matters. Oftentimes the first engage is the space taking. So, and the space, like taking the space away from them is taking it for yourselves. So taking control of high ground is really important for this. So what you want to do more so is, yes, you say take high ground, force them off high ground, and then what matters is the shot call after. So saying engage in 3, 2, 1, and then push on them. They're probably going to be playing payload if it's around here. If you push back even further, then they could be playing around here on the low ground. What else is there? Using ults. Careful using... It's not terrible, not a terrible idea to grab from below and group them up. Probably the safer thing to do is to just grab when you push them onto low grounds. That can be your shot call. Grab after they've been pushed down. You could do that and then combo it with a barrage. Yeah, but that's a very high risk, high reward play to do, because I'm pretty sure Grav definitely goes through this bit of bridge area here, so you can't just do that. Yeah, if you don't want to do that and play it safe, you can do that for like fancy plays, but yeah, that can be a shot call. Yeah, taking control of high. Again, keeping Zarya Ana on payload. Just be careful for counter plays. So they might have gotten wind now of how you're going to play this comp. So they might bait you out on the high ground and then just drop onto point. You should be able to react to that because Winston can literally just drop back down and kill everyone on point. Same with the Pharah. Or Echo if you're playing the Echo. But yeah, just be aware of that. That they might choose to rather go for the people that are aggressing them, the people that are holding the defensive line, the Zarya, the Ana on payload. So just be aware of that, and you essentially just keep pushing. Again, keeping control of high grounds, don't lose control of high grounds. Here's the hard part of this point. The first part's really easy. The second part is the hard part if they set up. Especially with a Pharah, like this is troublesome. So your Pharah wants to, as best she can, take this space, so take the space above the choke, or take this high ground area here, because her playing out in the open, and if they're playing any hit scans, it's an easy death, or easy poke out. She might not die, but she feels so threatened that she can't actually get enough value, and you might as well be playing a Hanzo or something just to get poke value. So she needs to be playing there, or on this right side here, when she can. I'm pretty sure this is where Joseph took his positioning, which was very good. So yeah, there's that. The Zarya or the Winston or anyone can help facilitate that. So don't if you're pushing a point, don't go dumb and expect it to be continuously going well. The point changes, so here you're gonna have to change your playstyle up. If you need to taxi or you need to secure space for other heroes, then you have to do it. So you need to get your Pharah into that positioning, or she needs to play back in these windows around church area, and then concussion herself in and then get value. So it depends how you want to play it, but yeah, just be aware that your Pharah, this is the most vulnerable area.
Right.
Let's go back there.
Third point though, it's
third point. Yeah. What else you have? Yeah, I mean it plays out pretty much the same way. Again, controlling high grounds first, getting people in the positions they need to be in, and then executing the comp.
Alright.
Yeah, we don't have Pharah though.
Sorry?
We shouldn't play Pharah there on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
So what we
don't know why it's only given us Gibraltar. No, that's fine, we'll talk about that. I'm talking about second still. Yeah, let's get on those heroes again. So, yes, blah blah blah. I've got Winston again. Winston pushes. Let's get back over there. Yeah, second point pretty much plays out the same way. Do you know how you would want to shot call on this, DH? On second, like first and second, are you comfortable with how you'd want to do it now? Yeah, it's never going to go perfectly. Like something might go completely wrong and they play something that counters you and you have to swap off comps, but knowing fundamentally how the comp is meant to work, you can more successfully execute it. So third point, I don't know why I've gone Winston here, just imagine that I'm swapping off. But you can still play double bubble here, it's not bad. Say I think you did roll with Winston on this actually.
No, he went Ryan. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I think actually we swapped off Ryan instantly.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was just kind of getting pressured a lot.
Do you want to give me the comp that you want for this point, or do you want to go over how you'd roll with the same comp? We can do both, but
it depends.
Probably safe to swap, but
because like if you cap third with second with momentum, I don't think there's any reason to swap off.
No,
like if you
right. So yeah, so your swap can be when things go wrong for the first time. So here, I think you should play it slightly differently to if you're playing Ryan Zarya. With Ryan Zarya, I think you should take high ground early and force them off high ground. With this, you play your Winston Zarya on point until it's absolutely necessary to hit high ground. So when you see that they're set up, that's when you go with double bubble and push in. So I guess if you're rolling with Pharah, the Pharah's going to want to be playing up here. So up above that area. She doesn't want to be playing over here because she's going to get rolled by hit scans. So yeah, have your Pharah playing as close to this area as possible. I'm really messing up where Winston jumps and be out there. Probably want to get there with a concussive blast, so have her hide and then go up when the monkey double bubbles in. So push payload, push payload, push payload. 3, 2, 1, dive, double bubble, punch in, push them off high ground, take control of high ground. So it's similarly played to most of the rest of the map, not first. Second though, so you take control of high ground, you keep control of high ground, crouching and not giving off ult charge and not making yourself like use your abilities and stuff. And you've got Pharah playing here. That's for the first push, and then the Pharah wants to play up here. So she wants to be playing above everyone, if you know where your Winston is. Playing around this area, staying away from sight lines, basically. This is pretty much a death area for Pharahs and Echoes. You should be getting picked off here if you're playing this flank. So yeah, take control of high ground. Play this area until you need to push. So you've got your shot call ready. Again, the comp is played the same way as the comp should be played. Haven't talked about antis. Antis you can just throw in with double bubble, so just keeping the Winston alive after the bubble probably, when he needs a health boost and so he gets max value out of the bubble. So yeah, plays up here, and then what else you got? So you got Pharah, you've got Widow. Did you swap off Widow, or did you play Widow second?
Don't know. Right,
well, there's two different answers. Yeah, Kree solid. So if you're playing Kree, you either play in point. Probably don't need to because Zarya has enough protection for Ana. Send Kree high, and then send Kree waiting for the double bubble, and then he gets to walk in through here and shoot, and stun and etc. Whilst the Pharah's set up, and it should be an easy fight really, unless if they just be aware that because BAP's so prominent, you've got stuff like lamps. So sometimes you just want to do a dry push or a weak push to bait out lamps and then go for the hard engage. So soft engage and then a hard engage. So on that soft engage, you might want to chuck your monkey in, but don't bubble him, just to see if you can force out lamp. Don't end up feeding by doing that. So yeah, you can think about doing like soft engages and hard engages as well with shot calling. So up here you just want to play buff point, have the Zarya Ana push point, have the Ana just healing, have the Mercy Pharah playing through again, keep pushing point. It's played the same way, and then double bubble into point or playing in spawn, primaling in spawn, probably the best thing to do, keep them off point. This is relatively self-explanatory.
Yeah.
The rest of this comp, I think it's quite solid actually. I don't know if you really need swap off, unless it was going horrendously wrong. It's a strong comp for this map. So otherwise, your swap comp is Rein, Zarya, probably Brawl. Is it Brawl? Is that what you swap to?
Kind of, yeah.
Swap to. Okay, so then you make your swap comp Brawl, and do the exact same thing, but because Rein can't leap like an 8, you just send everyone through high ground and push everyone off high ground, and then it plays the exact same way. So then at this point, you can be risky and keep your Ana on point to push. If you're playing... No, because he wants to play BAP, doesn't he? Okay, so you're playing BAP Lucio. You play BAP Brig, probably not wise on attack, so you want to play BAP Lucio. You can keep the BAP on the point, I suppose. Or you can just send everyone through top, push everyone off top, and then go back to cart and then push through. Oftentimes in Overwatch League, during GOATs, because of how essential high ground control was, it was especially common on Blizzard World. The Blizzard World second point on attack, that high ground area with the big prism thing in the middle, the team would just, on attack, would just push it up until the choke area, or just past the choke area, and then run up onto the high ground and brawl it out on the high ground, just leave the payload completely, because then they would end up getting the team win, or pushing them off high ground, and then they take point and then start pushing. That's how important the high ground can be. So you can just leave it alone. So at the start of this, you push the payload to about here on your first attack, get rolled. Excuse me, sneeze. So then you just take through high ground. So you can push through low. I would just be careful doing this, because against lower tier teams, or even just your tier teams, and if you play the high ground stuff wrong, then you're more likely to fuck it up, and then end up losing. It's safer to just walk through mid. It's definitely not the right thing to do though. So you can just choose to walk through mid. If you've got momentum as well, and you don't feel you've got them off high ground, you don't need to take high ground. But remember that high ground presence, you can choose your engage. So if you've pushed the payload to there, point there, and you've got Rein, Zarya, if you've got everyone up here basically, you've got a Lucio BAP, this is terrifying. You're the enemy team, you're sitting here and you're like, fuck, we're shooting with bunker. That's terrifying. Yes, you've got some space, so yes, you've got to be aware of stuff like halts and spam damage coming in and rocks and stuff. So micros are always important, but here, this is a huge advantage. When you're playing here, and an enemy team goes, oh, okay, yeah, they're just pushing the payload like normal, alright, 3, 2, 1, engage, stuff like that. When you're up here, they're shitting themselves in spawn. So they're like, probably not, a good team wouldn't. But it's an advantageous position to be in, because you can just choose when you want to engage. Don't sit up here. So this is the high tier play part. Don't sit up here so long that they spam out all of your barriers, and then you end up dropping, and then you just have to wait until everything comes back, or people get picked off. So it needs to be played relatively quickly. But like the Hanamura that I spoke about, you can take a second to survey the area, choose your first target, and then make the engage. Here, actually, Ana's not a bad hero to play, because you can just keep her on the high ground and shooting down. She doesn't have to be in the fight with everyone. Realistically, Mao's going to play BAP the same way. He's just going to sit up here, lamp and shooting. So, yeah, the Ana is good there as well. Cool. I think I've gone over everything on this map. You can also go around right side. You probably don't want to. Unless if they're playing Brawl. If they're playing Brawl, you're both playing Brawl, or they're playing Bunker and then they back out this direction, then wipe them out first. Just wipe them and then push payload. Take them off of their advantage. Don't have the habit of you're playing as a group, killing everyone on the high ground, they back off, they've got 4 people still alive, they back off here, they're playing something like Spam Bunker, they're all playing around here. You think, oh cool, we've won that part of the fight. You all drop to payload, start pushing it, and then they just set back up again, and they get massive spam value in, and then their respawns hit you from behind, on point. Yeah, if you're playing Brawl, you should go, okay, kill the respawns and then play corners, but you just put yourself at a disadvantage, so keep the momentum going, basically. Don't accept that you've won the fight just because you've got 2 picks and they backed off. Think about where they're getting their value, 100% all the time. Think about where you get your value, where they get their value. Take the value away from them, keep your value going strong. Cool. Is that all?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I just talk and talk.
No, it makes sense. I understand what we're doing now.
Good. Is it helpful?
Was like, yeah, no, it is. Because with Winston, I just didn't know like really where to set up. That's why I mainly went Ryan.
The most important thing though, whether you end up forgetting or think it's advantageous to do stuff like just pushing through mid, be confident in what you're doing, have a plan always. What are you doing? What else are you using? What abilities are you using? What have they got? What don't they have? What can you take advantage of? What can you exploit? That's always important. Where can you put them in a position where they're getting less value than you are just by where they are on the map? You don't have to use any abilities if you can just pressure them into an area of the map where they are. What's a good example of that? Where they're in a worse position? Yeah, I guess just any time that you take people off high grounds. If you've got a very pressuring dive comp, and they're a team that's a bit rusty on bunker, or not bunker, on brawl or whatever, and they think they need to drop point, or you're pressuring them on point, and they go, "Oh, we all need to drop point because you've gotten almost about to get a tick." You instantly take them off of an area where their comp works best, so you put yourself in a advantageous position. That sounds obvious. I think a lot of people or a lot of teams and players don't really think about how they can best play their comp with the littlest amount of effort as possible, and that is just thinking how where did the enemy get their, everyone knows this, but where does the enemy get their value? How can you take it away from them? So that should be at the forefront of everyone's minds, not just a shot caller, so you can take advantage of stuff. Give your shot callers information and say they're playing this here, we can do this, and they go, yeah, sure, we're going to do this, this, and this, and then help each other out. It works.
Yeah.
Well,
DH, is that all good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Good. I mean, you picked this up rapidly. I think your shot calling's solid for the first time doing it. How
Wait, is that the first time
I don't know,
DH shot called?
Yes. He's a very vocal player. He can speak for himself. He's a very vocal player.
That's mad.
Played for teams and done stuff before, and is a main. Well, Lucio was a Lucio player mostly, so Lucio players are often vocal. But yeah, I think I don't know. He can tell you differently. First proper shot call for a proper team.
That's very good.
Really solid. No, we've got shot caller on. Yeah, because you've been Gonga, but we've got shot caller on support now, main support.
Why? Why not main tank?
Because LGD, well, main tanks. I think I didn't let PG have a chance today, but I think that taking that pressure off of the tank line for their cooling will really help bolster good teamwork between them. So being able to LGD didn't talk enough, but PG talked and gave a lot of good situational calls today. So having them combo and stuff like that, you saying whole team 3-2-1, stuff like that.
Yeah, making those calls as well as plans is a lot.
What's that?
Making those calls as well as like doing plans and engages is just like a lot to do.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, I think it's very hard. So, the only issue with having main supports really shot call is Mercy. Everyone says, "Oh, I'm really struggling because I'm playing Mercy." You did play Mercy shot calling. How was it? Good.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay, it's normally the having to, it comes down to practice, but it's having to constantly be looking at your beamed target, thinking about how you can position best. Is what I always hear is how it's hard to do it just because you can't be constantly focused on how you want everyone else to play when you're not looking where they are. So. Cool. Probably because you're pocketing. It's normally when it's pocketing, basically, Pharahs and stuff. That's where I hear it. But cool, good that you're not struggling with that. So, absolute natural, very solid. If I was still doing Panda of the Month, you would probably get it. For next month, but I should bring that back. You guys have no idea what that is. So.
I saw the room, like the channel, and it needs to come back.
Oh yeah, Panda of the Month.
It never happened this month. I might bring it back for next month. It's just it's so tiresome to do. It's basically, it was my way of showing appreciation for
Shadow and Cheesy
players and staff and stuff. No, CC, no. CC wasn't around for that.
Cheesy.
Cheesy, oh. Yeah, Cheesy, I don't think deserved it as much as he got it, but...
okay.
Yeah, it was basically like employee of the month type stuff. But anyway, still good to continue, or...?
Yes, sir.
What do you want to continue on?
2 seconds. Iconworld? Maybe?
Actually, you explain, I'm on the comp game.
Good. Well, you're not less so than uncomfortable with, more so want to know a bit more about what maps did we do today? Iconworld, Dorado, we've done Hanamura. You want to do Nepal? What do you want?
Didn't we just do Nepal?
Yeah, we did.
We did one. We did 1 point. We can do the rest of the points.
Ah, yeah. I wasn't there for Havana, so you're gonna have to like kind of break it down for me. No, I mean fucking Hanamura, not Havana. Oh no, it's fine.
No,
I
it's fine. I didn't make it clear. So.
Yeah, you kind of just went. I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Go for it.
Like, I didn't give you a chance, PG, but I think it's probably the best route to go.
Oh no, yeah, no, like I agree.
Cool. Then pick up the calls elsewhere, PG. It's good that you're relatively vocal. I think maybe if you turn up your mic a little bit, that might help.
Yeah, no, I can definitely do that.
Urgency, I think, is something I'd like to hear more from you.
Alright.
In the scrims, a bit of urgency. Not so much that it's like overpowering the calls. Like, guys, come on, hit these holes. And then just you don't get any other calls out. You know, like. Especially as Orion, because Orion kind of is able to drive as much direction as if you're playing a Lucio, for example.
Yeah.
So you hear the speed boost, and then you're saying, all right, you get your shot call, you get your first target, you're saying speed boosting it now, and then you can just be a maniac. You can just call the target, scream it, make sure that's the target, and then go on to the next one. I know we've got Matt and Gumbo doing target calls. Realistically, when you're playing Brawl, you're almost always going for the same target. It's relatively simple, so you can just. I think it will be good now actually for you, LDD, Gumba, Matt. I know you two aren't picked up yet, you and Matt, but well, we'll see how that goes. To like work on synergy, so knowing what the other person is thinking, and I think putting shot calling on someone else will really help with that. So you can just both target call essentially, and just be vocal and give the team information. So,
got it.
So we've already done village. Why are we still here? Hi, Matt. Matt, you still need to hit level 100. You know, level 100, level 200.
Yeah.
You've probably got about a month to do it now, or less so, 15 days. So. Okay.
Wait, what leagues are we gonna like join?
CC is the #1, and you're in Shockwave as well. And we're in Element Esports, but that's basically practice.
Wait, is CC actually like doing season 3 now? Is it official? Oh, so season 4.
Yeah.
Wait, has season 3 already been?
Yeah, season 3 was last year.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Oh. Oh.
Try.
Okay.
Give me a comp.
Warm up, you on?
Flight routine activated. Going free. Changing position.
So I'm gonna hijack that and say you pretty much can't not run a Lucio on the first of this map. because of hitting the point at the same time as the enemy team. Do you want to? I mean, you're shot caller, and we've got other people here that will have a big voice in the team. Do you want to be a team that can play alternate comps and play them well, or a team that knows meta, plays it well?
Definitely the first. I don't like playing meta constantly. Yeah,
Right.
especially with like how quickly it does change.
Well, Overwatch is in a position where you're going to be playing lots of different stuff anyway. I mean, we're playing Orisa Ball comps, but no, I meant like on this comp, pretty traditional to have a sim playing it. Like Hanamura is a sim, and you played that. So like, do you want to be playing a sim? It's kind of like, if you don't play a sim on this point, then you kind of put yourself on sim and Lucio on this point. You put yourself at a back foot because of how important getting point presence is at the start. So you can give them point, wait for player comp where you give them point, wait for time for the point to unlock, and then engage on it, or yeah, you just play the sim. I think that's pretty much the only way you can play this point personally, is the sim Lucio. Tell me if I'm wrong, but how else do you want to play it? I think you did. Did you play sim? You played sim Lucio anyway, or am I making that up?
No, we did not play sim.
The other thing you can do is have the sim TP out spawn and then send a Reaper. So swap Reaper. Reaper's good on this one. Play what you like. I'm here for extra knowledge that you might not know. So this point is like probably the #1 point of the game where getting point early really matters. Like village really doesn't matter. That's why you don't go to point. Oh, Matsu. Let me put him on our team.
We're bullying him.
Uh,
Don't change his team. I like bullying him. Where is he?
oh, he's with us now.
Aww.
I don't know. I don't want to hijack. So what was your initial pump? And we can discuss it. Yeah. I think Lucio Moira. Okay. I think it's smart to. I'm playing back. I'm just thinking because you can get point presence quickly here. Maya was kind of fucking his Moira today. I didn't tell him, but he's using way too many damage orbs. But alas, Moira's good, Bap's good. They do different jobs. Here, I think it's smart to go with the sim, Lucio, outspawned, hit point, and then your swap can be, so you want sim, Mei, and then your swap is McCree Mei, yeah. So, it's, why am I on the Lucio? DH go on the Lucio. And then I'm gonna get...
What? Wait, where is he?
I'm swapping.
Wait, where's
So
Sample?
the start of the map is TP, push TP, speed boost, so you get straight to point. Or, you don't need to speed boost straight away actually, you can hit point and then speed boost, up to you, shot caller. And then what really matters is first target. So the reason why you ended up losing was because the voice wasn't there for what you wanted for first target, and that kind of comes down to the main tank really, because they're the first person to see it. So the main tank needs to go. It's a fast brawl. They're realistically playing the exact same thing. So you have the sim set up, turrets quick, but yeah, and it's first target, so it'll be the Rhine. So you go Rhine, you just shout, scream at the Rhine, Rhine, and then kill the Rhine, and then so this map's pretty relatively simple. So yeah, that's how you play it. Winning first point, you just stick with it, and you're playing Lucio Bap, or Lucio Moira, doesn't really matter. So yeah, you just play it out, similar to how I said to play it on Nepal. The second way I said how you play Nepal is where you take point. You can play a sim on that as well actually, so I just have set up point. So yeah, up to you what you want to do with that. Sim, and then your swap is McCree, and then yeah, point is played around this choke. People like the Sim slash McCree watches flanks. The BAP can watch, well, the Lucio watches flanks as well, so Lucio needs to be thinking about that. Lucio's, in this case, is shot calling, so we'll give it to someone else. So then the off tank probably needs to be watching flanks, so calling those. And then it just comes down to direction. So you're playing a Lucio rather than a defensive brawl. So you want to think about whether you are giving space. So this is where shot calling is important. When you see they're playing aggressive, you can tell everyone, right, back, and you give them space, and they execute something. They want to execute something, but they execute it too early, so you end up taking value, like you amp speed out, and then you can go back in, or you hit them early, and you hit them out in the choke area before they can do anything. You don't really want to just sit on point and do nothing as Lucio, because then all you're doing is, you play Lucio for speed boost, so then all you're doing is amping heals. You might as well run back to spawn and swap to Brig if that's how you're going to play it. It is just sitting on point. I'm going to say no, because first fight, you won't be there in time. So I mean, you can tell me otherwise. You know, DH I think is up to you, well, and the team. You get to choose how you want to play the map, but I'm just giving what I know, and what I think works. So.
Adjusting angle of attack.
Yeah. So yeah, for shot calling, this is with most maps. So anyway, you just need to actively be thinking. Don't catch yourself doing nothing. Basically, actively be thinking about, okay, what have they got? How are they going to play it? Do I need to move the team around, especially on Lucio? It's Lucio shot calling, so it should be pretty piss easy to end up winning. You just move your team around, you say back up, back through right, and then speeding in, stuff like that. But yeah, as I say, don't just sit on the point and do nothing. If you hear someone saying they're flanking right, then meet them there. Meet them on the flank right, and if it's just one person, you're already there and you've got amp speed, then you can say, alright, speeding now, and then you kill that person. By that point they might have taken, they're on point at 2.5 ticks, but you've taken someone out, so then even if you give up point, you can then engage back on point with the brawl. Oh, my throat. I feel like I'm just rambling. Is this helpful?
No, it is helpful, yeah. Don't worry.
Cool.
Yes.
And I'm trying not to say stuff that we all know and be condescending, but yeah, at the end of the day, Overwatch is not simple, but we've been playing it long enough, so you kind of know what's going on.
Truly.
You know, Huh? Yeah, you can do that, yeah. Yeah, that's how I would play it, and then McCree may, and then you can make swaps again, like on maps, if you really need to swap something that's going to work. Realistically, this is a brawl map, but you can make swaps if you really need to. If anyone, as shot caller, if anyone wants to make swaps, or you want to make swaps, if you want to make swaps, you say swap to this, and that's it. If anyone says something like, I'm not getting enough value, can I swap to this, then you can either say yes or no. It's entirely up to you. Or you can say stuff like, well, you're 70 to ult, let's play this loss, play this fight out, and then you can swap, use ult, and then you can swap to this hero or something, so just to give a bit of direction. Hopefully, because you might feel like there's a lot of pressure on you at the moment, your tank line and your other support will start to, you'll start to like automate, so asking for ult tracking, dead silences of target calling will start to go away, and people will start helping you out rather than it sounding like a one-man band of you telling everyone what to do. They'll give you information and stuff, so it just comes down to practice though, playtime. These faces are really creepy. Not seen this before.
What's that?
Right.
Lifting off.
I don't know if you... That like I broke it a bit. There's one over here. It's got a moustache.
Yeah.
I think that's it on that point. 2 seconds.
Right.
No one else.
What the fuck are these statues?
Going free. Executing flight maneuvers.
Hey.
We'll do. Should we do one more point and then the last point and then stop?
Yeah, that sounds
Take
good.
up everyone's time. Or you can keep going if you want, but I feel like I'm taking up lots of time. Oh, perfect, Sanctum. So this point, give me the comp.
What point is it?
I think it was May McCree.
It was a McCree. No, I don't think he played again, dude. Did you really play May? Okay. I think, from what I know of this map, I think double bubble is viable. I think playing a bull is viable. Orisa is traditionally strong, so you might want to play that. Yeah. Yeah. I'd be confident in saying you never want to play Ryan on this map, unless if you, like, completely take first, and then play in their spawn and hold it well until you get picked off, and then you that's the only way you want to play Ryan on this map. You don't want to play around point, because you're, what's the word? Vulnerable to boobs. So. Alright.
Right.
So, if it were me, I would be looking for, not Sigma anymore, it used to be Sigma for a bit, it used to be Hog for a bit as well. Probably Orisa Bull.
Yes.
Freak, maybe Zen. Maybe Echo. Probably Kree. Tracer. Tracer's very strong on this map. You could even play a Hanzo and play it with the Orisa. Hanzo and Kree. You probably just want to play the Kree with the Orisa though. There's different variations you can do. Like you could run Mercy Ash if you really want to do. I don't think it's the strongest thing to play, but and you can play an Echo Mercy Echo, or you can just play Echo, Echo Tracer. Double bubble strong. Double bubble brawl. Less so. Double bubble with like backline and shots and stuff is good. Dive is also good actually. Probably the third strongest comp, so probably the one you don't want to play, but it's not unplayable. Yeah, it's up to you how you want to play it. Give me the comp. I recommend the Orisa Bull, working with that, but give me the
Give
comp.
you a comp.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you want to try it or swap to it if the Orisa ball goes wrong, then I would play double bubble. Otherwise, I think it's best to come out on a Orisa ball. Because the way you play double bubble, it's not really the way you played it, but it kind of was similar to how you'd want to play the Orisa ball anyway to start with, and probably would have gotten more value off of it if it was Orisa ball. You did roll it though on the first fight, I think. Well, not roll, it was close. I think you ended up losing actually. I can't remember exactly, but it wasn't close. It was close. Yeah, I remember it was a confident first fight. I can't remember exactly, but it was confident. At the end of the day, if you try this comp and then you don't like it and it goes all wrong and you don't really know how to play it, then you can always just play something else. No point sticking to something. Or if you want to learn and if everyone wants to persevere and learn how to play it, but at the end of the day, if you can't play it, you just can't play it, and sometimes that's life, and you just have to play something else. So Orisa ball, you're on the monkey PG, so you can just sit there and act as my Orisa. So yeah, Orisa ball starts off with the monkey, oh no, not the monkey, the Orisa, what would the other DPS would be here?
Probably a Hanzo, Spam, maybe 12.
Yeah, I was thinking Hanzo.
Ray.
Hanzo Tracer? Maybe?
I was gonna say Kree. I was gonna say Kree works here, doesn't it? Kree works here. Yeah. Kree works better. No, Genji doesn't. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think Hanzo's strong. Like, you could do double sniper and take 2 off angles, so have the Hanzo take this angle and have your other sniper take this angle, shooting out. You could do that. I'm not sure. Sometimes I don't like Hanzo for inconsistency. Storm Arrow is good. Did you say Tracer's not good on this map?
Like, depends on it. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah, just keep going. I think I said Tracer is not good. Well, she is good.
I'd argue this is one of Tracer's best maps. Because of
Wait,
her
what
home
map
base.
are you on?
Yeah.
What map are you on?
We're on Sanctum.
Oh, the inside one. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. Okay. Sanctum. So yeah, this is probably one of Tracer's best maps because you've got home base in here with the health pack. You've got drop point. You've got run round point. You've got come back to team through the other side, and then if you really want to, you can swap bases and just set up over here and have this as Tracer base if they get privy to it, and then she can just hit point like that. I think Tracer's strong. Do we have anything against Tracer on this point? No? Okay, so
No.
Tracer's good for harassing. Anyway, how you want to play it is the Orisa set up here. Let's say you're coming out on a Hanzo or Kree. Let's say it's a Hanzo because you need a projectile. Let's make the projectile Hanzo. So you got Hanzo here, shooting, whatever. You've got Holtz coming in. Not of the first fight, no, but like for the rest of the fights, you have this set up here. Realistically, they're either playing the same thing or something that's going to push you hard, maybe double bubble, something like that. So they're probably going to be coming from that direction, from over here. So your halts for first fight are to stall this push. If they are pushing mid, the ball needs to know. Gimba will know this. We'll probably end up playing Gimba on this anyway. If they're pushing point, we need to scream it. Are they going point? Whatever. So the ball goes behind and looks for pushes off point. So you go for a halt. You say 3, 2, 1 halt, and then the ball pushes through and gets them all off. So that's the plan for that. And otherwise it's harassing point, and then Hanzo getting good damage on. You can even play an Echo, Hanzo Echo or Echo McCree as well. Probably Hanzo Echo or Echo McCree. Hanzo Tracer or Echo McCree is what you want to play here as your DPS line. And yeah, you take point, so your Orisa can move point if that's where the pressure needs to be, or the ball takes point. And the rest of the map is just played with the Orisa here. Orisa here, Hanzo here, getting value. Orisa can rotate if she needs to rotate over here. She rarely ever hits point. Or she can hit point if she needs to pressure it, or she can hit point if she wants to catch them off guard. So like she's been playing here for 2 fights, and then you can go, alright, play point now, play point now, play point now, and then you play an under. And then you and your ball swap sides, so the ball then plays on these high grounds up here and harasses from this area. So there's that. That's the Orisa positioning. BAP for Orisa dive. Or you can play BAP Brig just for Orisa help. And then help packs on Tracer / Echo. Or Zen. Probably not Ana. The ball has to sustain himself with health packs around the map, really. And then the occasional armor pack from a Brig, or if you're playing an Ana, then he gets shots from an Ana occasionally. But yeah, that's how you want to play that. Matt? Oh, he's not here, is he?
No, he's gone.
How his ball was. Just if Gumball wasn't.
Wait, you took it to me?
No, I was talking to Matt, the other guy, to the off tank. My voice is going.
Alright, let's go quickly with that.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus. Right.
Recontest works the same way, so if they're playing on point, it starts as your same attack. Ball does ball things. Gotta call. The important for shot calling is calling the same target, so the whole target. So the whole is in, and then the ball slams and stuff like that. That's what matters. Is the first target is what matters for shot calling on this, basically. So make your first target strong. Probably be a tank because you've got Storm Arrow or Stun and Phantom Hammers. So he's not going to get much value from long range Phantom Hammers. I think Kree is weaker than Hanzo here.
Yes.
It's if it works that way around and your prod is having you're struggling on Hanzo that day or something, then make your second comp Kree Echo, I think. You could even play Kree. No, what am I saying? Ignore me. Yeah, do that.
Yes.
Brig. Support lines can swap around. It really depends how you're feeling. I probably think Bat Brig is the safest thing to do. But yeah, it depends what you want to do. If you want to go for high damage, then you get the Discord in on the halted target. If you want more sustain for your ball, then you play the Ana. I'm dead. If you want, what else is there? Yeah, and then just overall Orisa protection, armor packs, and yeah, you play the Brig. But you always play the BAP for the Orisa. 1 second.
I am back.
Wait, you fucking know right. Very funny.
Right, losing momentum. Does that all make sense? Does that work? Yeah? Do you know how you want to shot call on this? Yeah, definitely. And having everyone do it with you, rather than them do their own thing.
Is it Monday or Sunday that's days off? Like, do we have a scrum tomorrow as well?
Monday.
Oh, perfect.
One,
Who's that?
One tomorrow.
You rolled them.
Was that yesterday?
They're like new team. They're the new team.
Oh. They've improved quick then. Yeah.
I haven't played them. Well, I've played them the first time we played them, but then I haven't played them.
I haven't been here long enough. Well, we're gonna beat them 4-0. So
what else goes on this map? Yeah, if you're playing this comp, you don't need to put sharp choke. So don't feel tempted to, for your Orisa, tempted to hit point or walk up the left side. She really doesn't need to. It's one of those comps where you let them come to you. Whenever you play Orisa, you want to increase your distance between yourself and the enemy so that you get max value, you get lots of shots in, you get the whole value in. Yeah, that's how you want to play it, really.
Right.
So you don't really want to be moving up here. The Orisa at most can move up here to hit clean up targets. So yeah, that's shot calls for this map, pretty much. For recontest, yeah, it works the same way. More likely to get value off of the recontest because you're more likely to end up having people sitting on point, then your ball gets whole value on them. If there's no one on point for the ball just needs to be harassing back lines around here and then looking for boops into the pit.
Yeah, we're bullying you. No! Don't you, why'd you swap?
Do we want to do another map?
Yeah, I can do one more.
Yes. Okay.
I'm down.
Very committed players. Kim, when have you ever wanted to do this? Madman.
Me?
Maps. Also, you're not even here. Yeah, you say yes. I realise you're not even here.
Yeah,
You're
but
playing
I
comp,
just...
but-
Yeah. I'm just listening to what the big brain says.
The last one we did was Hanamura. Hanamura actually was solid. It was a bit wobbly at points where they could have definitely taken advantage of you.
I'll be honest, it
That
was
arm
just
is
my right
beautiful.
arm. I'll be completely honest.
No, Orion's there for defensive reasons on that point. I think Orion is a risk on that second point defense, but it's not the biggest risk. Like it's
pretty sure
if they don't adapt, then it's a guaranteed win pretty much. So
No, but I got
Yeah.
played the game, so therefore
need to sneeze again.
Bless you.
Right. Let's try and wake up my voice. So you played. Are we on defense? We are on attack. You played. I think it's good now that we've got a vocal team because now we can do sim shots. We normally avoided it. So sim. Oh yeah, this could have gone either way. I think. Yeah. So you don't
Yeah.
need the Lucio here. If your TP target is mid, like just straight to point, you don't need the Lucio. You want to play Batbrig. Same as like what I've been saying. With this can be transposed to any comp. If you're playing a any map, if you're playing a comp/map that allows you to get to point or payload quickly and set up, you want to play your defensive role, so Batbrig. If anything else where you have to make grounds, like if you're not playing the sim here, it's probably wise to play the Lucio to take this high ground and push through. Yeah, if you, anything else where you have to move through large areas of space, you want to play the Lucio or push onto the opponents. But if your goal here is to just set up on point, the same with second actually, you don't need the Lucio on second. If you stick with the sim, so yeah, you just go Batbrig and then set it up on point. I think it's very risky to, because everyone expects it, very risky to make point your first TP spot, because they did counter it, but you outplayed them basically, and you got more damage off on them. If you want to be like the better team and then get value off of it and win it, and end up with 2 people left, you can do that. Just be aware that if you do get rolled, you give them free ult charge, and you probably get none. So.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get none. You should still get picks and get ult charge. But yeah, you're kind of giving away ult charge for the next point. So TP spots. I should go sim actually. TP spots are. I'll go Reaper to show. No, I'll go sim. There's 3 really on this map. Oh, and yeah, when you come out of spawn, yeah, you probably don't want to play Lucio, so you can speed boost everyone out of spawn and then swap if you want. No, you don't want to do that, you want to be stuck with everyone. So Brig Bap, walk up, barrier, Simpus TP down, this is the one you did, so this is one here, and then you here. If you do this, the first person who sees point, so it's the Ryan who puts his barrier up, really needs to communicate what they're doing, because that 0.1 to 3 seconds of 0.1 to 0.3 seconds can make the difference between you getting rolled or you rolling them. So taking point and setting up is good. The first thing the Rhine does, depending where they're playing, if they're all playing point, then he keeps his barrier up and moves forward and sim kills. If they're playing top left, or anywhere else, and you've decided to hit point, the first thing the Ryan does, he could even walk through teleport, through TP backwards, not walk through it, but like turn as he's about to go through, so that he's got his barrier up ready for everyone to not die. He probably should be the first person to go through. So yeah, that's the most vulnerable part of this comp. Is getting that, getting everyone through safely. Once you're through safely and set up, Sim can set up easy, get her turrets up and get loads of value. But yeah, that's what matters. So PG and LGD when he's here, those calls need to come out. So they're playing blah 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 top left, or they're playing blah 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 forwards, like forward. Or you can if they're playing top left, you say they're top left, turn it, and then you turn around, put your barrier up, and everyone's safe. If they're playing on point, you say they're on point, go forward, go. Pick a target. So Ryan or Orisa, and then you just go straight away. So you've got to have. It's what I was saying earlier. You've got to have momentum with the sim comp.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You've got to know what you're doing almost before that TP goes down. So yes, you've got a shot caller. Your shot caller says where the TP goes. It's kind of down to, unless if DH sees everything as well and backs you up, it kind of comes down to the main tank for this very start of the map.
See, that's why we did so well, because I'm just amazing.
Okay. It was very close. The thing is, I don't know where they were set up. I was watching our perspective.
They were up there. Like, they were up top left, and also, like, a bit on the left here.
Basically, the first thing you do as a Ryan on this map, and the Zarya on this map, is you put your barrier up instantly, because everyone expects the TP. The best TP teams know that everyone's expecting a TP, and they still end up winning with it because they play it better than the defense. So you pretty much should be putting your barrier up straight away, because people died instantly. Last time we ended up winning out on the damage. Sorry?
We won, right?
What?
Yeah, we won first fight.
Yeah, you won with 2. Yeah, but at the end of the day, we want to be winning with 6 players, not 2. So there's always a way to optimize. So the way to secure more people, I wouldn't mind people dying, like heroes die, but what matters is how many are dying as you TP through, because you already lose people. You might as well leave people at choke to just shoot from choke if that's going to end up happening, you know. If you TP 6 people through and have a comp ready to do work with 6 people, and it works with 6 people, and only 2 of them die, then you've got 4 people working with the comp that was meant to work with 6 people, and then you probably end up losing it. You ended up winning it out because the damage was there. But yeah, just basically, I can't say without giving other comp. So there's a comp location up on top left. So you say they're top left, the Ryan turns around, etc., and bubbles come out and whatever. There's comp location on far right. Probably the safest one, or on rock, probably the safest one to live through. So, but again, make sure you're aware and you put your barrier up early so that people don't die for that. And then the other complication is just on point. So again, putting a barrier up forwards, it just comes down to the main tank. And then put it up for like half a second and then brawl into them, depending if they're on point. Or if they're, again, like, you're not playing the Lucio. So yeah, you could play the Lucio with this. So say they're playing, it's really unlikely though for them to play this side. If they are playing this side, if you're Lucio, you go, okay, you TP3 and you go, okay, speeding, hit Brian, go, and then you hit where I am now, on the sim. Otherwise, it's probably safe to just have a defensive setup brawl comp. You can still walk forwards with it, but you're just not gonna catch them if they walk backwards. Realistically, if they're playing, well, they should be playing on this comp, which is bunker. They're not going to be moving. And if they're playing what we're playing, then you've already gotten past. You've already gotten past what they were planning to do. So be aware of that as well. If we're playing the Orisa ball comp, don't know if we even want to do that still. But yeah, if they're playing TP, how are you getting value if they're just hitting point with it? So just make sure that you get that value at choke. We should probably go over what we want to play on defense, because it's an enigma. We never normally know what to. We had the Mei comp, and the Mei was good for blocking blocking TP use. And then we had a
We
ball as
can't be
well.
sure that they're running the TP shit all the time.
Sorry?
We can't be sure that they're running TP though. I feel like
Yes.
they kind of for users.
But
after a certain time.
But with comps like this and like Shrine on Nepal, the one with the stairs that go up, you almost have to play expecting them to play what is quote unquote meta. So you have to expect them to be playing those things. How do you counter that? And if they don't play it and you've got something that specifically counters that, then they've kind of outplayed you. But then you make sure you know how you play around that. So if you are playing something that you know is going to get countered by it, then you might as well not be playing it in the first place. So, like the thing today that we did with the Echo Tracer, where you're setting up outside, if they TP through, or if you don't get value on them before they TP through, then they're in, and they're on your Orisa, your supports. Are you getting value at that point? Probably not, because they're going to end up getting kills, because imagine we were the ones on attack, we'd expect to be getting kills on that Orisa, that BAP, that Brig. So, probably should go over the defense on this map. Unless you play it well, or you don't play so far out, like the Ball, Tracer, Echo. So yeah, you've got that TP, you've got a 10-second cooldown on my TP. You've got that TP, why is it permanent? You've got top left TP, you've got from spawn top left TP, and speed through, like if you're playing a Lucio. If you're TPing anywhere other than point, you might want to play a Lucio. So TPing top left is TPing top left. You can still play the bat brig and just bunker down here and then hit point. So yeah, it's kind of up to you, DH, where you want to TP to. It might be worth, because you can actually see. You can actually see Choke from, like the Ryan when he's walking up can see Choke from here. So if he sees that they're on top left, then you can say TP point. Once he walks through, he sees that they're on point, you can say TP top left. So the information just needs to come out quickly basically, and you can choose where you want to TP to. Depends what you want to do and how you want to play it. So that's really up to you, DH, and everyone else. Is that all good? I haven't heard anyone in a while.
No, I'm just kind of listening.
Yeah, I think like the only reason why we lost the point there is because, well, our Tracer died pretty early, so we didn't really have pressure on anyone, on any of.
No, your Tracer didn't die early. Your Tracer died on the second fight. You won the first fight. Tracer
Yeah, I
died
know, like,
fight. But you can still win it
like,
out. It's just because they were privy to what they worked out what you were doing, so they just shut down the Tracer. The Tracer was in bad positioning at the time, but yeah, it's Iris Crow what comes to play. That comp is more played for second. Most comps that you play on this map are really played for second because you should be able to skip first point. Most teams should. Doesn't mean you don't try your best on defense first. But anyway, second point. I think the TP to staying with the TP, especially for playing Bat Brig, is good. TPing left is obviously traditional, that's what everyone would expect. You can do that. I think most of the time people think it's better than it actually is. The TP to mid-high ground is very popular. I don't know why I'm not getting my TP back. But yeah, the TP to mid-high ground is very popular. I think it's good as long as you don't TP and then instantly drop the point. PG, I think as your mic goes a bit mental sometimes because I see it myself.
Oh dear, that's not a good thing.
It's very occasionally, not often. But,
alright, I'll try and get it sorted.
Yeah, if you TP up here and then drop to point, you might as well have TP to point to start with. So use that little bit of half a second to 2-3 seconds to work out what you want to do once you're up there. Just stay up there, be an enigma, make the enemy team worry. They're like, oh shit, they're on mid-high ground, and then they have to react to that. You might want to just send someone on the low ground to hit point though and pressure point. So you can do that. It puts even more pressure on them. Just be careful that person doesn't end up getting picked off. You might even want to play D.Va for the second point for that reason, so that she can pressure point and everyone sit up top. I don't know. Actually, is it better to just hit point? Maybe, because you're a brawl, so you want them to push point, so that's where you get your value. Up to you. I've given the reasons why you might not want to drop straight away, and now the reasons why you want to drop straight away, so...
Cool.
By this point, they've probably got ults, that's the question, so does dropping mean that they're going to get more value out of an ult that they want to go out, so... Like, you could even TP up here and then come behind, or TP into this back area here, and then come behind, and then come up the stairs. You can do loads of stuff when you're playing Sim. You can TP, for whatever reason, up over there, if they were set up there, or you can TP from... I wonder, can you hit this TP? Maybe there's a TP here, I can't check because Sim doesn't work on this for some reason, but you might be able to make this TP as well. Probably not, but it's not often smart to do that because they might be playing an Ana, they might be playing a Brig, so you are, unless you get a perfect barrier off and a perfect bubble off, someone's going to get stunned, you might all get anti, you just end up getting destroyed. So if you're going to do that, it has to be element of surprise. You have to expect them to not be able to deal with it, otherwise you're not going to get huge value off of it. You can, if you get it right and you get the bubbles off and the barrier comes up perfectly and stuff, then you essentially roll, because realistically they're probably playing a BAP, so they're going to have a lamp for it, but you should be able to roll through that and then push them down the stairs and roll through. You're playing Brawl, so really up to you. Up to, I think PG suggested the TP on top of point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Normally, because like if you TP up on top of point, there's normally like an Ana that's like positioned bottom right, and you can just kind of roll on her.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just win the fight from there.
Yeah. It comes down to where you want to TP. I've given you the information. Did I gloss over it too quickly, DH? You realistically, right? You can TP anywhere on this point, and they've all got their perks and downsides. So you have to decide as a team, as you and yourself, where you think the most important place to go. Just remember that the most risky thing to do is TP straight onto the top right, because they have things like stuns, lamp, anti, pins, huge damage swings. They probably aren't playing it right, so huge damage, halt, just lots of damage, and you might just get killed faster than you can actually get a brawl in. So yeah, that's the only real risky way to play this point, is to hit that high ground with the TP, because the TP has a lag time as well. They can see it coming up, so they can react to it. So it has to be an element of surprise thing. But yeah, brawl on this point's easy. Once you have control on it, you should be able to roll it. Otherwise, you probably want to think of an alternate comp, or at least play brawl and swap off the sim. So McCree probably is the traditional thing to do. May Reaper. I think Reaper's better on this point, just because this choke is so notoriously hard to push. It is going to be top right every time, so pushing this, you might just want to run in with the Reaper. With McCree you can get stun in as well. It's really up to you how you want to play it. I know that though tank line's different and shotcall is different now, so you might be able to pull off Reaper. It might be fun to actually see if you can pull off Reaper comps. Reaper brawl comps.
Probably could.
He's got his perks. Well, it's brawl meta for a reason, Reaper. So McCree is just because hit scans struggle with Reaper for some reason in these comps. So I mean, play for what you're strong at, but Reaper at the end of the day has to be played with the team, and if he's not playing with the team, you can't get away with it. On McCree, you can kind of get away with it. So that's why they probably like playing with McCree. But you're shotcallers, you can tell them, say, fuck off, you're playing a Reaper now, and make sure you play with the team. Yeah, there's Reaper can't be played. That's the thing. Reaper can't be played with defensive. Unless if you are playing really defensive, that you need them to come fully into you, so that Reaper's at close range. So Village, you can probably manage that. This comp probably not on first. You probably want to play the McCree. So yeah, that's the other thing. Reaper's basically always played with Lucio because he needs to get, as much as Ryan needs to get spread around. As Johnny said earlier, you play on the right shoulder. So I can't remember who was playing
Jamie.
what at that time. Jamie was playing something. I don't think he was playing a Reaper. He was playing something, but yeah, you basically play on the right shoulder.
I think it was Curry, yeah.
Yeah. So Kree does the exact same job. It's no different. It's just that he's got a different kit. So he's got his burst damage is not as good. So he's got Fan the Hammer versus Reaper regular shots, but then he's got stun. So where do you get more value out of? It helps that he's got ranged shots too. So a worse team will do better with a Kree because a Reaper comp needs to be in on the enemy before they even know it to actually get value. So yeah.
Yeah, I have
That's
to go
something
now,
to know.
but
That's fine. You're on later than usual, I think. Yeah.
yeah, it's because it's a fucking Saturday.
Oh yes.
Come on,
That's
no
true.
school and all that. Right. See you tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
see you tomorrow,
tomorrow.
man.
I think so.
Right.
Yeah.
GG's well played.
Well played.
GG.
Good. Are you still recording this?
Yes, I am. I'm streaming it and then I'm gonna upload it later.
It's could be a long VOD.
Yeah, I'm probably just put like
Um,
timestamps in the comments.
We should probably write it all up.
Yeah.
Obviously we wouldn't expect you to do it, but...
I don't know, I have a lot of free time, believe it or not, on weekends, so...
Ah, handy.
Exactly.
You've been playing well. And Matt's still here. Is he? No, he's not. He left.
Nah, he died. He's gone now.
Dead. What else? We played it. Oh, Icon World we didn't do. It's probably worth going over shotgunning on Icon World. You still here, DH? Tell me when you want to stop. Yes. Yes. Yeah, the map by map's important when, well, coming down to comps, but also things that people get into habits on particular maps. Like Icon World, second point, first and third are pretty simple. Second point is an enigma for most teams because of that middle high ground area. Do you, when they push past bridge area, do you take that high ground or not? And I think a lot of teams are tempted to do that. There's no right or wrong for that. It's just when you do and a team plays it wrong, taking that high ground is normally the death of them because they end up pushing the whole thing. But then if they don't take that high ground, they might be playing like we had tonight, a Widow. So like, are we pushing it or not? Are we getting distracted by the Widow? Are we getting picked off by her? Realistically, if we played the Brawl how it's meant to be played, you're all meant to stick together and not get picked off. A Widow shouldn't be getting value against the Brawl, but for some reason it did. So yeah. That the LGD not commed, shot called Icon World. How would you on the attack, DH? How would you take Icon World second attack? Yeah, yeah. Gates open up second. What do you do? Yeah. If you're playing Brawl, again, it's normally traditional to push your castle and go onto the high ground because that's normally where the advantage setup is on the high ground. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. pushing through to the corner isn't bad. But I wouldn't. It depends how they're playing. But I wouldn't expect any of them to be playing. A good team, I wouldn't expect them to be playing on that low ground area. If they are, then you can take advantage of that and just roll into them. If they're very obviously got a set up on the high ground, if you're playing Brawl, it's probably worth pushing through Castle to get them off that high ground. Like I said on Dorado, the first fight is normally to get them out of position. Attackers get them out of position. Unless if they're playing Brawl, then they're probably just waiting for you, and then you do a regular Brawl, Brawl v Brawl. But yeah, I think. And then on defense, it's probably worth going over the comp on Icon World Second. Everyone hates Icon World Second. I can see why. It's such a weird point, but third is obviously Brawl. So like DY that play Orisa Spam second, and then swap for third to Brawl. Or do you play Brawl on third, and then because I think you normally play Orisa on first defense, so then on second you swap Brawl ready for third point. I don't know, but hello.